she's a dropout. She could not even complete the course in college. She's so confused that what should she do, where should she go? That is what parental pressure did to her. Now let's talk about something known as internal pressure. Pressure that stems from within us. To explain this better, I would like to tell you about the humanistic theory which was first propounded by Carl Rogers. He said that there are two images. First is the real self, that is, the person I am. And second is the ideal self, that is, the person I want to be, I would like to be, I aspire to be. So when there's a great disjoint between the two, it leads to a lot of turmoil. And that is exactly what happened when in 2011, a class 12 boy jumped in front of the metro at the metro station and committed suicide. Only on the pretext that his class 12 physics board paper was very hard. It was very difficult. This means that he could not stand up to the expectations of his parents, his friends, his family, and most importantly, his own. Talking about another such similar case, about 2 years back in Kolkata, a sweet and innocent 16-year-old girl called Srinjini Sen Gupta was participating in a very prestigious dance reality show. And on one such fatal night, after her performance, she received a lot of criticism from the judges. Criticism to the extent that she could not handle it. And today, she's paralyzed. That is what I call media pressure. She cannot walk, she cannot talk, she cannot move. Who is responsible for this? Am I not responsible for this? Are you all sitting here not responsible for this? Or is the whole nation not responsible for this? Or for that matter, the eminent dignitaries, experts on mental health sitting on this dais, not responsible for this? People often justify this by saying that such kind of things does not happen with anybody and everybody. People often say that these things only happen with those people who are not able to find an appropriate outlet to channelize their energy. People also say that this happens with those kind of people who are not well guided, who are not properly counseled. I am sure majority of the good schools in Delhi do have a student counselor. My school does. But how many of us actually go to the counselor and talk to him or her about our problems? Very few. Hardly anybody. I think that it is the school's responsibility to hold orientation programs and classes to generate that trust within students that yes, the counselor is there for you. You can go and talk about your problems with her or him for that matter. I would not go to a counselor just seeing the board outside her office saying, Mrs. So-and-so, student counselor. I need that trust that yes, I can share my secrets with her. I can confide in her. And that is only going to come when the school makes efforts for this, when the school encourages this. That is when those people will find proper outlets to channelize their energy. As I said in the beginning of my speech, I am extremely delighted to be here because it's a very rare opportunity when students get to voice out their opinions about issues which concern them. But I I would also like to say that why can't we have more such conferences, such seminars, such lectures, such talks in each and every school, so that students can benefit from this. Students can learn about issues that concern them. Why do we need to have such a conference in a 5-star air-conditioned hall? Why can't we have them in each and every school so that students can gain from it? Students need your help. We need guidance, we need help, and we are not shy from saying this. Thank you.